Hello, everybody. This is a very first attempt to speak in English and to organize the whole communication in English. It's quite difficult for me and it's quite strange, but some people would say it's even crazy. And why it's crazy? Why what am I doing now could be called like that? A crazy idea. It's because I'm an Albanian. I'm an Albanian and I am trying to reach out an audience of people who speak English and an audience of people who might be interested on what's going on in Albania. I am trying to reach out to an audience of people who might be curious about people who think about getting together, being organized together, and trying to change their country together. So I'm trying to reach out an audience of English speakers who might be curious on how simple citizens, very simple citizens, are trying to use very simple instruments as well as they are, simple as they are, to open the gates of freedom and through communication and through opening these gates of freedom, getting together, being structured together, being organized together, and maybe hoping to achieve change for their country. If we would call this idea in a better way than crazy, it would be like we are a group of dreamers. So, as John Lennon said, you may say I am a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. This is one of my favorites. So, this John Lennon's quote, it's one of my favorites. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I have found out that there are many Albanians like me who are dreamers and who are trying to find in one another a co-partner of building beautiful dreams for our country. Who am I? For every person who hears us who is listening us for the first time, for everyone who knows nothing about Arian Galdini or about uh, new movement, LRA. I am a very random, simple person who thought one day that my duty as a parent, as a father of two sons, is to seek for the truth. And if I feel confident enough that that's the truth, that's the truth that I really believe in, and that's the truth where I find myself represented and fulfilled, then I should speak up. So I should reveal the truth to the people without forcing any of them to believe in that truth as the only and absolute truth. So my first attempt or impulse or uh, desire was just to come and speak as a free person on my social networks and tell people about what kind of truth I have found out and why I believe in that kind of truth and why I consider that kind of truth as important for me and why I speak up not to impose my truth, but to find maybe others who think like me and who find that kind of truth as important as myself. So that was my first, let's say, plan. No agenda. I had no agenda when I started. So who am I? I'm just a dreamer who, by seeking his truth and by revealing his truth, decided to use social networks, these social networks as a instrument of uh, trying to find maybe other persons like me, other persons who would believe like me in the same truth, in the same truth. And here I am after a story of 4 years of resistance, speaking up the truth. Now I find myself well organized, well structured, and surrounded by really some of the best people of my country, of my nation. On this way, on this resistance and on these activities of 4 years, I have seen so many wonderful Albanians and I have met so many wonderful Albanians who have understood that this mechanism, these instruments of seeking the truth and revealing the truth are simple as we are as people, but efficient and maybe the only way to bring real truth and real change in our society. If you have ever heard about Albania, Albania has a very, let's say, troubled history. Let me say that this way in a very uh, tender way. But we have had a very troubled history as a nation, as a country, as people. We have been for 5 centuries under the Ottoman Empire, and after that, during our attempts to build our new state after 1912, we survived the First World War and then the Second World War, and then we survived a very severe dictatorship, communist dictatorship. From 1944, Albania was under the influence and control of the empire of evil, the Soviet Union, as the internationals know it. So under the communist empire, and beyond that, Albania was the only country, the only country, the only country that decided to ban God. God was forbidden in Albania. Churches and mosques were destroyed. Priests and imams were imprisoned. And not only that, but all those people who were like the bright people of society, the well-educated people of society, the intellectuals, the academicians, all of them were or imprisoned or silenced with every mean. From 1944 till 1990, Albania suffered the most cruel dictatorship that you might have ever heard. Now you are familiar, all you international friends, you are familiar with uh, the regime of North Korea. But believe me, till 1990, Albania under communist regime and under the dictator Enver Hoxha was even worse than what you see now under the regime of Kim Jong-un in North Korea. Even worse. Famine, so hunger, was a common thing in our country. Lack of freedom was the coin, the functioning coin of the regime, of the communist regime in Albania, and the ban of God and the destruction of all religious institutions and buildings was the strength of the regime. And we have seen day by day this human engineering creating the new man, as the communist regime would call the new ideological construction that they worked on every day for 45 years. So they almost destroyed all our traditional uh, habitat, all our traditional uh, laws, culture, all our traditional behavior, beliefs, anything. And they left us only with the ideology, only with the Communist Party's ideology. So we would think as the Communist Party would say us. We would be as the Communist Party would say us if the Communist Party would allow us to think or be. In 1990, after the wall of Berlin fall down, we had the citizens and students democratic, let's say, revolution, we call it here, but I would say an attempt or a nice try to get together thousands of citizens to protest against the communist regime, and tactically those protests were used as an excuse for the regime to change. Why am I using this kind of words? Because I want to be honest. I don't believe we had a proper and a real democratic revolution in Albania in 1990s. And I don't believe that we had the proper and real change. All I believe, all I suspect, and I seriously suspect, is that we had this occult agenda and hidden agreement for the communist regime to preserve their continuity. And how did that happen? They just agreed to consider the protests of thousands in the streets of Tirana as a revolution, and as an excuse for the regime to accept, to give up and fall down, but but with the clear plan, with the clear plan that anybody that would come later on as representative of the new democratic times, or the new democratic system, let us call it like that, there would be people who would be nominated or controlled by the former secret police of the communist regime, or by the former structures of the party of the communist regime. So the Communist Party and all those other structures that they had, like the Marxist-Leninist Studies Institute, or anything like that they had during communism. So all these new leaders and new political structures that we saw being born and organized after 1990, I am doubtful that they are nonetheless but the fake faces of a fake political pluralism. So the former Communist Party, through them, could control the new democratic times and the new democratic system in Albania. And it happened because we have seen that since 1990 to the day we are speaking now, Albania is the most delayed country on reforming in itself. It's the country that never makes it to have free and fair elections. Always we have these international reports uh, of State Department, European Commission, OSCE. Uh, so any international observer, they always say that something went wrong with the elections in Albania. You have to improve the elections for the next time. So you would change the law, you would change the electoral code in order to have better elections next time. So always the previous elections were a failure, and always we had this encouragement, keep working to make them better next time. 33 years, same story. So fake elections, fake political pluralism. This is the first thing that makes me doubtful on an agreement of the fake fall of communist regime. Then we see that even those guys who are now media owners, or as we call in Albania, even the rich guys or the oligarchs, they are mostly with a story that connects them in the past with the former secret police, Sigurimi Shtetite, how they called it. So they are connected with the former Sigurimi Shteti, with the former secret police of the communist regime, or with the structures of the Communist Party. None of them is, for example, ever part of the people who were anti-communist or who were uh, persecuted or condemned by the communist regime in the communist regime prisons uh, or concentration camps. You don't see any rich guy, any successful in business guy that comes from that part of the society. No, they are still marginalized. Only the former communists are always bright and shiny and successful. Only the former communist or the former secret police people are those who control now media, control now money, finances. So they control everything in the society. They are the barriers of freedom in our country. So if you want to speak the truth, you need to deal with them. You need to compromise with them. If you want to go and speak up the truth for anything, you need the media, but the media are controlled by them. So if they do not give you space to speak up in the media, you are nobody. You are blocked. You are isolated. You are all isolated. So if you want to reveal your thoughts, the truth you find out, if you want to go and speak to the people, to the citizens of your country about truths that you find out, the truths that you have been seeking and you have found to be important for you and for the country, you need media coverage. But to have that media coverage, you need to compromise with the same guys who've been for 45 years representatives of the communist regime. Same guys. Same guys are oligarchs. Same guys are the owners of the media. According to serious media, international media reports, in Albania today, we have only 5 families and 17 people. 5 families and 17 people who control all the media, the national ones to the smallest ones, to the most important ones and to the less important ones. So only 5 people, and 5 families and 17 people are the owners of all the media in Albania. 5 persons, 5 families and 17 persons. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Then let us go to the other argument. The 3 main political parties we have, they have the same leaders they had the day that the communism fall down. So in Albania, if you'd ask somebody, hey, but how politics works in Albania, you'd hear, look, in 1990, we had Sali Berisha as the main leader of the democratic changes. In 2024, we again have Sali Berisha. In 1990s, together with Sali Berisha, you had Edi Rama. And now, in 2024, you again have Edi Rama. In 1990s, you had at the meeting with Ramiz Alia, Ilir Meta, as a student representative of the student revolution, democratic revolution. Now, in 2024, you still have Ilir Meta. So why this is important? It's important to understand that from 1990 till 2024, you have three parties, three leaders, three parties, three leaders, Sali Berisha, Ilir Meta, Edi Rama. In these 33 years, Sali Berisha was 2 terms president and 2 terms prime minister of the Republic of Albania. Ilir Meta was 2 terms prime minister of Albania and 1 term president of the Republic of Albania. Edi Rama is from 3 terms and attempting the fourth prime minister of Albania. So this shows perfectly that we have no democratic parties. So in the context of how parties function and how parties are organized as structures, no inner democracy within those three main parties. Same leaders, 33 years, no inner democracy. So we have authoritarian, autocratic parties in government and opposition. In government and opposition, which shows that nonetheless, but we have the same guys that the Communist Party left us as their heritage, as their Praetorian Guard to preserve the control of the former Communist Party over our new system that we consider it like democratic system, but according to me, it's a fake democratic system. So to cut it short now, as myself has all these doubts, and these doubts and these suspicions have been for me like a huge dramatic suffering inside me, like a kitchen of reflection inside me. I have been cooking this idea of speaking up and speaking up whenever I could, wherever I could. But in March 2020, I decided that I would use my mobile and my Facebook page to go live and to create this live communication through Facebook that I named it as the Corner of Hope. Corner of Hope. So it took me a long time to come to this idea and to come to this, say, uh, personal dedication of using my mobile and my Facebook page to speak up the truth. It took me a long time, but I did it. On March 2020, even uh, taking advantage of the fact that the COVID pandemic has put everybody at home, I entered live communicating with people and I saw that it was working, it was functioning. I had very few people at the beginnings, very few people at the beginnings. But one day I saw that it exploded. And since that day, I took this commitment that I would communicate every day, with all my energies and good desires and good uh, hopes, to speak the truth and try to make people come together through that truth without imposing to anybody that truth. And now, after 4 years, I have many things to tell you. I have many things to tell you, and this is the reason why I decided to come and become a little bit crazy, and start again all over from the beginning, a new communication, even in English, because we have a story to tell, and we need people to hear our story. We need allies, or we need support. We need understanding. We need encouragement. We need people to know our story and to recognize what we are doing, and maybe uh, encourage what we are doing. So I am starting now after 4 years, even in English, as I started in Albanian in March 2020, so I can reach out to any English speaking international, anybody. I don't know how far it will go. I don't know whenever or whether this idea will function or not. I don't really care, for being sincere. I don't care whether it will function or not, because I'm trying to speak words of my heart and tell a story that I am living in, and my dream and my vision and my desire is to uh, maybe uh, reach out to your hearts, so you get to know our story, and so you get interested on our story, and maybe encourage it. Why in English? Why do we need people who speak English? Why do we need internationals to support our activity, and to hear our story, and to support and to encourage what we are doing in Albania? Very simple. It happens that sometimes small countries become smaller than a box, because the regimes are so cruel, so vicious, and so sophisticated that uh, they do not allow any kind of freedom to make nations and countries to grow. Growth, it's an attribute, it's a virtue that comes through freedom. Those who take out freedom and dignity, they do not allow growth. So they have put everything and everybody uh, within our society here in Albania in this small box. It's like they almost control anything and anybody. They have created a system, such a sophisticated system, that everybody is fed by their hands. Everybody is almost fed or getting some profits or advantages or social status by the regime. And when I speak about a regime, hear me out, I don't mean the government. Watch out, be careful. I don't mean only the government. All I mean is a regime now, it's a co-partnering regime. You have the opposition and the government in the same club. That's why you have a three parties regime in Albania. So when you hear me now and on speaking about a regime, I don't mean only the government, but it's a three-party regime in Albania. You have the government and the opposition. You have three main parties, two in opposition and one in government, that they agree together. They fight against one another. They hate one another, but they still agree. So they would keep control. And they kill together any new idea, any newcomer, any new attempt, any new vision, any freedom of speech, anything that can build up, anything that can build up freedom of speech or freedom of being together or being organized together. So, as I know that they feed almost everybody in this country, I need to overpass these surroundings. We are surrounded here. Yes, we have made it, and I will tell you day by day, slowly, our story. We have made it. We exist now. We resist now, but we are still a few. We resist, but we are still a few. We have made it, but we are still a few. So we are not enough to be electorally relevant, but we are enough to resist. We are not enough yet to be heard out, but we are enough in numbers to be respected and to be heard by those who do not seek numbers but seek truth. In Albania, when you are a truth seeker, you are alone. You are the enemy. But among the internationals, I hope that we will find people who will respect this thing, this struggle of simple people to challenge a huge, huge, gigantic regime that comes from 1944 till 2024, more and more powerful, more and more structured, more and more sophisticated. They have used anything to silence us, anything, throwing mud against us, covering us with mud. They've done anything, threats, public blackmails, private blackmails and threats, anything to silence us or to close us. But we have resisted and we have been born. We have been born. We have been organized, structured, and we exist. And we have resisted, believe me, with only one mobile phone and one Facebook page. It's a unique, fantastic story of a community being born, developed, and resistant and existing, persistent and hoping. and committed with one mobile phone and one Facebook page. It's a unique story. It's at the margins of a miracle. It's at the margins of a miracle. But we need internationals to hear our voice. We need friends to hear our story. This is why today we are starting the International Corner of Hope. We are starting this communication in English. I'll try. I'll do my best with my uh, little English, but I'll do my best to uh, come every day with short messages and even with this corner of hope, International Corner of Hope, till we find friends and people out there who would be interested, if we'll find interested people for our story and for what we are doing. And all we need is attention and encouragement. All we need is like open channels to hear our story, and you decide then. You decide. We have done the same within our society, within our nations. We have done the same in Albania, and we exist only through this communication, this kind of communication. Media in Albania is banning us. And as I see today, one of the things I see today, maybe they are shadow banning even our social networks as well. Maybe they are shadow banning because I see today a huge difficulty to communicate on YouTube, a huge difficulty. Maybe they are shadow banning us, but no worries. We'll persist. We know how it works, and we have been now uh, used to that, and we are mastering this communication. Today, uh, we might be feeling or might be getting a taste of a shadow banning. Uh, anyway, it doesn't matter. That's not important. It's not important at all. We'll keep persist. So we'll be here every day. So we will show up every day. You'll see us every day speak in English, doing the International Corner of Hope in English, as we'll do the Albanian Corner of Hope, and as we'll do anything we can do to keep communicating and to keep building up uh, communities that can support this idea. Today we start the International Corner of Hope. Officially, the International Corner of Hope is open. From today, nobody gets surprised when they'll hear me in English. Nobody gets surprised when they will see videos or posts in English. Uh, we will use any instrument at our disposal to reach out to as many people as we can that can support and encourage what we are doing. This is a struggle, this is a battle, and the only instruments we recognize as possible and usable are the instruments of peace and communication. This is the only way we see ourselves getting involved in. So whomever hears us, whomever gets these messages, whomever happens to hear what we are saying in English, so you know we are the alternative of peace, love, maturity, goodness, and we have made possible to come together in a new political party in Albania that is called New Movement, Lëvizja, and Lëvizja, New Movement Party of Albania, is the only political party in the world's history, the only new political party in the world's history being born by one mobile phone and one Facebook page, the only one ever, and the only one resisting only through one mobile phone and one Facebook page, and the only one really existing through one mobile phone and one Facebook page. So we are here, we exist, and we'll use the International Corner of Hope to introduce ourselves to anybody who might be interested. So anybody who wants to know our story and Albania's story and our opinion about politics, we are here. Uh, slowly, when we build up an audience in English, then we will interact together with people who might be interested to ask questions. So if there are people who are hearing us and who wants to know more about us, uh, let them ask questions and we'll come back to you with our answers. Anything. The International Corner of Hope is open, is on. So God bless you and thank you very much. And we'll see one another tomorrow again. Have a good day.